everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing something really fun, and we are going to be making some custom stamps. I got this stamp kit off of Amazon for between $10 and $12. I can't totally remember, but it was relatively inexpensive, and I loved doing this in the past. I did this, I believe, in middle school art class. It was the same class we did woodworking for some reason, but I remember loving to do this so much, and I remember thinking how easy it was to make these cute custom stamps, and since I've been getting into stamping a little bit more lately, I thought now was the perfect time to try. So like I said, got this off of Amazon. It comes with a little handle, two little pieces here that you can use to carve, an actual linoleum block, I believe is what these are, linoleum blocks. That you are actually meant to take this and kind of carve out different designs, and then you are able to use it as stamps. Now obviously you can use this to create one giant stamp. I'm going to use it to create a couple of tinier stamps, and I think just because I can never get enough of it, I'm going to make some Avatar: The Last Airbender stamps. With all that said, I think it's time to get started. I'm just going to unwrap my linoleum block, get everything unpacked, and decide on what tip I want to start with. So this set has a ton of directions and like ideas and patterns and all that, which is really great, all things considered, but it is kind of self-explanatory. I think it's just that they have a ton of stuff in a bunch of different languages, and they have like tips and such. Thankfully, I do already know how to do this. So I decided to go with this one because I think it's a little bit tinier. I thought it was nice that it came with two tips. You're gonna want the tips that have, one will be like kind of wider like this. This is for scooping out really big areas, and this one is for scooping out lines and individual bits and bobs, which is kind of what I am going for here. At least I'm going for a little bit more detail. And really all you have to do to insert it is take the rounded edge and slip it right into the tool, being sure not to hurt yourself, and then you should be able to grab underneath and pull right out. I've already done it successfully a couple times, not too hard to figure out. And when you're cutting, always make sure to remember to cut away from yourself. Now it's time to start sketching out my designs. The block is a nice simple rubber. It's very comparable to store-bought stamps since it's pink. I've seen these come in many different colors, a plain white, some greens, whatever the case may be, but this is it's really quite standard and flexible, and as such it's also really easy to cut and carve through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of measure out some squares that I think would be appropriately sized, maybe something like that, and cut out 4 squares, or at least measure out 4 squares. I will cut them after I do all the carving just to make things nice and easy, and then I will walk you through the process of actually carving out a design. All right, I did a little practicing, I got the hang of it, and I'm feeling pretty good about going forward. So as you can see, contrary to what you might expect, I did not follow along the lines that I drew. In fact, I actually left space around them. This is because whatever you carve is not going to show up on the paper. So while theoretically I could have done an indent and then kind of had like a square shape that made the symbol in the middle, I actually just wanted to create the symbol. So you have to very strategically carve around each of the lines. And if you draw dark enough, like I did on the Fire Nation symbol here, then it will stand up pretty well. I left this one for last because I think it's the easiest to see because there's so many straight edges to it. So that is what I'm going to take you through, nice and easy. I'm still using my little thin one. If you had a bigger stamp, then I would definitely recommend swapping out for the large, wide one, but because I really don't want to get into any of these lines, I really want to have some precision with this. So I'm gonna zoom in and we are gonna get to this last one here. Quality kind of got a little yucky after doing that, but it's okay. So just kind of follow along with me here. And I'm just gonna go kind of right alongside it all the way to the top. And I'm gonna create the outline first just to make it nice and simple. And it's okay if it's not 100% perfect. You can always make adjustments after you test out your stamp for the first time. So I'm just leaving a little bit of room on the outside in all directions. Make this one a little bit deeper. And come across the bottom here. Obviously this is happening real time, so you can see as I'm going about how long it's taking me to do each of these. I hate to be the do as I say, not as I do type of person. I am trying to push away from me as much as possible. Sometimes it slips my mind and I forget, but definitely try as hard as possible to remember. I'm just gonna kind of tip that off right before the next line there. I'm actually just gonna go right in from the edge, go in and cut up right before it's done. I'll actually just hand rip this. Next one, got a little bit of my pencil marking there on the top one. That's okay because I still have my bottom one here. I can actually go up on the inside now. And for the swirl, I'm going to start in here and really just swoop around the swirl in one easy motion. I think I've got most of the insides done. Now it's just a matter of carving at the outsides. Now it is time to test these bad boys out. I am just going to cut them. You can see how nice and easy they cut up and how easy they tear. Super perfect. I am going to be using some Ohu markers to be transferring, I guess. I already tested some of the other ones and I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll keep it at the bottom. But this is actually the best way to test to make sure you have your raised areas in the right places. If you just run a quick marker over them, you can see what is raised and what is still taking. I've got just a little bit too much down there, but I think I can ignore that. Got a nice deep red on there, and then all you'll have to do is find something you want to stamp, angle, press, and do it pretty quickly because the alcohol markers will dry pretty quickly as well, and peel it off, and you have a very simple stamp. Now, something else that's important to keep in mind is that it does swap when you stamp it. So theoretically the swirl should have been going the other way, but I think it still gives enough of the vibe. And now we're going to do green for the Earth Kingdom. Pull up the chisel tip, color over, see if there's anything missing. If anything colors that shouldn't, it also kind of gives you a nice easy look at what needs to be fixed or removed. Like for instance, this is a little thick. I might even just want to take this and kind of pick off a little bit extra. I think that looks better. Not much, but a little. And in fact, I might even want to kind of beef up these guys a little. And plop it down, press. Boom! Actually, that one turned out really nice. And that's really all that it takes. I already kind of colored in with the blue and yellow on these guys, but I'm gonna stack them up just so that you can see how they look. Obviously, because the alcohol markers dry really quickly, you should be able to layer a new color or use a regular stamp block or even stamping ink, depending on what you have available to you. Obviously, it's whatever you have laying around. This is not meant to be difficult. Just a little fun, creative thing to do. I think these I'm actually going to get a decent amount of use out of, especially if I'm making Avatar: The Last Airbender gifts for my friends, because we are all so obsessed, as I'm sure you all know. And just pop the air nomads down there, stamp, pull, and it looks great. I think they turned out really cool, and it's kind of got, because it's so like riggedy, I think it adds like this cool like rustic sort of ancient element that I think Avatar: The Last Airbender already has. So absolutely, I think it's super easy to do. I think it's relatively cost effective, and you can always, this is a tool really, you know, you can keep getting more and more use out of it. You can use it for more than just one thing. And because it comes with the multiple tips, you can get even just the tool really for I think $12, and it comes with like tons of tips that you can do a bunch of different stuff with it. But I think for what it is and for how the kit worked, I think this speedball Speedy Carve block printing kit is absolutely worth the money. I would highly recommend this if you need something custom. It was so much fun to do. It's super easy and kind of relaxing, actually. I actually really just enjoyed doing this. So if you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe. I do put out new videos like this every week. Sometimes it's reviews, sometimes it's art, sometimes it's crafts, who knows? Just stick around and see what comes next. Well, thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in next week's video. See ya!